Hi there. Hello, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. The discussion topics for the weekly live show are anything that's currently in the news that you want to discuss. So if it has to do with racism, bigotry, or inequality, it's fair game. Now, unfortunately, this week, hey, Thomas, thanks for being here. Fortunately, this week, there hasn't been a whole lot going on. It's just another slow news week in the Trump administration. Just kidding. Okay, sadly, there's never a slow week. There's never a slow minute. But the goal of each show is to facilitate conversation about racism in America in an open, heterogeneous setting. Understanding our real racial history will support a more honest discussion about how our past and present culture has caused the divisive social issues that have plagued our nation from the beginning and continue to do so today. So this infamous saying from Lyndon B. Johnson summarizes the scam that white people have fallen for since the beginning. And I mean, it was a good one. It was a good one. And this is a quote, so he uses kind of antiquated language. He said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon and he'll empty his entire pocket for you. That's kind of a summary of what he said. And hey, Neil, it's time for white America to understand that we've been scammed by the wealthiest elite. Hey, Lakeisha, thanks for being here. Hello. Hi, M. Gino. We've been scammed by the wealthiest elite into blaming all of our problems on people in historically marginalized groups. And it's just not true. The wealthiest elite are running our nation and getting us to not realize what's really happening. They're making laws that benefit them and not everyone else. So it's time for white America to educate ourselves. And it doesn't have to be a horribly painful process. We've been scammed. So while you're thinking of topics you might want to discuss, I have a big question. And that is, what do you want from our new Congress? What is it that, I mean, I know what I want, but I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you guys want. And so, you know, a bunch of drama has happened this week that would put any other president under. I mean, even one of the things that's happened with Trump and his klan would have put any other president under. But it's just another week of racism, bigotry, and hateful, a hateful federal government. And unfortunately, it's getting really scary. So again, anyone who wants to talk about any topics, please feel free to do so. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to summarize what's been going on, and hopefully that'll spark some, conversation. My hope is that everybody will continue this conversation after this live show and, get going, send it to people, share it. We need to be talking in a heterogeneous setting about what's going on in our country. And we need to be doing it in a really real way. And for some people, it's going to be a little painful, but it gets easier, I promise. And we can't not do this. We have to do this. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do a live show, is to just get a lot of people from different backgrounds talking. All right. So to start off, there's so many things, and I want to say little things that happen, but actually they're big things, but for Trump, they're little things. So it's kind of strange. Jim Acosta, who is a CNN chief White House correspondent, was at the press conference right after the midterms. And Trump was doing his election wrap-up, which, as it turned out, was basically his take, of course, was that he was winning. The Republicans are winning and they're doing great, and this is a great victory for them. Well, I mean, we're all used to the spin and the total BS. What happened was he was asked about, a question about the caravan of immigrants and how he had characterized it as an invasion, basically. I mean, his words. Trump answered a few questions, and then he said he wasn't going to answer any more questions. And Acosta tried to do, I guess, like some follow-ups. I saw it. It was kind of ugly. And somebody from the White House tried to take the mic from him. A woman, I don't know if it was it was possibly an intern, maybe. It got ugly at first. So they basically pulled his White House press pass so that he couldn't do the news for CNN. And the way he put it, I believe, was that he didn't like the question. Trump didn't like the questions, and of course Trump didn't like the questions because Trump's completely full of it. So it was a really bad scene if you saw it live. Here's the crazy thing. I keep trying to remind myself that this is a president. See, this is a president thing, because after Sarah Huckabee Sanders said the reason his press pass was taken was because he was physical with an intern. Well, that's not exactly how it went down. I saw it live. She was grabbing at his mic and he was trying to basically get away. So something really strange happened. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, did any of you see it live? There was this tape release, this video released, and it was doctored. It was a doctored video. I guess some experts looked at it and they said basically, I think something was like sped up to make it look like he was doing something really fast. I'm not 100% sure, but all I can say is, oh my God, that's the White House. Hi, Keith. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for being here. Oh, excellent. Philip, Lynn, thank you so much for being here, you guys. So this is getting crazy. Somebody, and I don't know exactly who, put out a doctored tape to make this guy look bad, like he had done something to this. I mean, this is really bad. Yeah. Lynn, okay, Lynn, Trump just runs his pie hole. We give him a touch of publicity when we pay attention to his, we give him publicity when we pay attention to his BS. Lynn, I agree completely. The problem is he's the freaking president of the United States. I mean, it's hard to not pay attention to him. Yep, a jerk, to put it nicely, Lynn says. Yeah, I don't even know. Philip, the tape was a lie. Seen it live. He did not disrespect her. I saw it live too, and he was trying to get away from her. I don't think he did anything wrong. She was basically trying to grab the thing from his hand. So, I mean, but just let that sink in. Again, for the people in the back, a doctored up tape, a fake tape, hey, Stephen, was submitted to the public. My God. If this isn't insanity, I don't know what is. So anyway, after that happened, apparently the White House backed down after it was discovered that, probably very obviously, it was a doctored up tape. And now the White House is saying that they took his press pass away because it was, he wouldn't give the mic back, which is a little more honest, at least, I suppose. But anyway, so apparently CNN followed up with asking for the press pass back because he's their main guy at CNN. And the White House followed up with, he's never getting it back, quote unquote. So now there's a lawsuit filed suing Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and a bunch of other people who were complicit in this, I guess. CNN went to the court today asking for a temporary injunction that Acosta should be allowed his press pass back immediately until the case plays out. And it's just too crazy. Neil, remember, he gets media attention that Trump craves. Ah, so true. Hi, Mike. thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thomas, let me see. Oh, I lost you. Thomas, how about, let me just do this. How about Trump? I'm just going to scooch this over. How about Trump supporting the public? Oh, okay, let me just read what you're saying here. I'm going to switch it around. I'm only seeing part of your comments. Oh, okay. How about Trump supporting the public hanging comment by, oh gosh, that's right, yes, absolutely. He's, that's in my notes too. Yeah, there was a woman who, thank you for that, and thank you for putting the post there too. Yeah, he supported a lady laughing about a lynching, basically. It's not funny. I mean, things have gone nuts. It's out of, thank you, Thomas. Exactly. And yeah, Lynn, insanity for sure. Stephen, yes, he's the laughing stock of London, Stephen says. Absolutely. And the scariest thing is, he's the laughing stock of the world. Oh, Cher was the one who doctored the tape, Philip said. Tell me more, because I didn't get the details. Hey, Brenda, thanks for being here. I didn't get the details on that exactly, but I know I just was blown away. I mean, with this guy, a lot doesn't make me just, my jaw dropped. I mean, and I hadn't realized that Trump supported that congressperson's disgusting humor. So we have a lot going on. None of it good. And decent people voted for her. Oh my goodness, Philip. So apparently they went for this temporary injunction, and 13 or more of the news agencies backed CNN. I mean, I guess they stick together. This included Fox News, the infamous Fox News, who supports, Trump's incredibly cruel agenda. Just another drama for Trump in the lineup of daily dramas. The case was assigned to Judge Timothy Kelly, I believe, who was a Trump appointee. So, I mean, this is all getting, what do you guys think? And I'm just going to throw this out here. You can throw it out there. You can tell me I'm crazy, and I probably am. But what is going on? What do you guys think of the idea that we don't have enough checks and balances in this system of ours? I'm starting to read stuff that's fake news, and when I first read it, I think it's real because it's perfectly possible. So it's, yes, the laughing world, Stockland says. And Leslie, a lot of times we throw out that word, white privilege, but for those who don't understand white privilege, 45 is a perfect example of what white privilege is. You can do things that people of color cannot do. Absolutely. Thanks, Leslie. Absolutely. I have a personal example to talk about, and I'm not proud of it, but I think it's probably pretty topical for today. And what you just said, Les, I got pulled over for speeding. And okay, it was a speed trap, but I was probably speeding. And I was very nervous, of course, knowing what I know about police in general. Not everybody, but what's obviously in this, especially in this culture that we have right now, just terrifying. And I did everything right, put my hands up just like any person would have. And he walked right up to the window, and I was absolutely shaking because I was scared. And lo and behold, he said, I'm going to make this easy on you. I have no idea why he said that. Gee, I wonder why. He said, I'm going to lower whatever. He told me you were speeding, and I said yes. And I'm going to lower it and everything. I'm going to make this okay for you. I didn't say a word. I was just like, I wasn't. And he lowered it to a speeding ticket. Not a speeding ticket. He lowered it to a, what was it? How did he make it? He had it higher than a speeding ticket, and then he made it to just like a parking ticket or something ridiculous. I mean, I'm glad he did. Don't get me wrong. But I thought to myself, my God, talk about if I was a person of color. I mean, this guy was like my buddy. It was unbelievable. So Brenda, when I see that man, I honestly get really sick. He needs to be gone soon. He's been here too long. He's just been here too long. Yeah, and the Republicans are letting him violate the Constitution. And Phil, I'm not a constitutional lawyer by any, but I was reading, got really interested this week, big shock, in reading Amendment 25. Yes, Amendment 25, because my God, if we don't use Amendment 25 now, when would we? This is insanity. Hey, Anna. Hi, Tina. Thanks for being here, you guys. So jump in. I want to hear what you have to say. So that was my experience with getting pulled over, and it was white privilege on steroids. And I got the benefit of the doubt because that's what we get. But unless we think and are made to think and understand and become educated, a white person can get pulled over like that, and they don't think they're getting privilege. They just think that's the way it goes. And when 3 out of every 4 white Americans do not have a single close friend who's not white, how are they supposed to know unless they take it upon themselves to educate themselves? So that's my big push. Is I'm not blaming white America. We were all born into this, but my gosh, we have to. We don't just sit and watch it. We don't just sit and watch it. Hi, Jamie. We don't just do nothing. If everybody here decided race is a social construct and we're done with this, it'll be over. So the more people who are educated, in my mind at least, the more people who are educated, the more chance that when laws are passed to force fairer ways, the people won't be trying to circumvent them to continue their systemic racism and their cruelty. People will buy into it. So that's why I'm all about education. White people aren't going to be the saviors. People of color are saving themselves, and we will get back to heading in the right direction because they are doing it. I mean, Black women today are the most educated group of people in America. Things are going to get better because people of color and African Americans, Black people, Indigenous people, brown people, they're fighting and they're amazing. But God forbid, white people, we started this. The least we could do is support them, let them lead, but support them. I don't think it's asking a lot. So anyway, I'm on my kind of rant. So that was, what do you guys think? Trump appointed judge gets to look at that case, the CNN case. Anybody have anything to say about that? If you want to, anything you want to say, just jump right in because this is your time, and I'd rather be reading what you have to say once I scroll through it and figure it out, because I always forget to scroll. But there's so many crazy things going on. Does anyone hear about Betsy DeVos? As a former, I'm a special education teacher, a former special education teacher, and she is just, I'm sorry, what she's doing is evil. I'll just kind of give you a rundown for people who aren't, because there's a lot going on. I say little things, but they're only little things for Trump. Anyone else, be the end of their career. Hey, Kentu, thanks for being here. So Betsy DeVos is trying to make university campuses in America great again for rapists. Purposely proposing measures to make it harder for women to charge their rapist or assaulter on university campuses. And I read a big article about that today. And as most of us know, again, the Kavanaugh stuff, fake reporting is around 2% over time across the board for all fake reporting of crimes. Okay. The truth is, most sexual assaults and rapes and attacks are never reported. And obviously, even when they are reported, most of them, there's no punishment. There's nothing. I mean, this is not a one-sided thing for men being accused and falsely accused. This is a one-sided thing for basically a rape culture. So her doing that is basically the last thing I could possibly think of that would be good. Philip, look how Republicans are so blind in Texas that they still voted Cruz over Beto. Oh my God, I loved him. When Beto was the better man, even when they see the stupidity Cruz is doing, even after he proves Cruz is hurting the Republican Party, Cruz, amen. That's all I can say. It is disgusting. That guy just gets it. And I know it's no offense to anyone, it's Texas, but still, oh my God, absolutely, Philip. Brenda, I had a really good girlfriend that was white. She moved away. Her kids told her it's best that she didn't stay in contact with me. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Brenda, you're a sweetheart. That's awful. So she said I didn't need to visit her in her new, mostly white neighborhood. Wow, she was my granddaughter's godmother. I was heartbroken. Oh, Brenda, I am so sorry. That's just cruel. Wow. I mean, oh wow, I am so sorry. You know, it's really kind of scary. You definitely figure out who your real friends are. Hi, David. Thanks for being here. I know for me, yeah, tell me more. Does anyone else have stories like that? God, that is just heartbreaking to lose a friend like in such a, I guess you didn't know, maybe you just didn't know she was. I got to tell you a quick story because I had some what I thought were good family friends. And okay, I admit I was very, very vocal, but because this is insanity. This is 2018. My God, we still are dealing with some of the worst racism. I mean, it shouldn't be this way, but I did put a very strong message out on my timeline, and I meant it with all my heart because I'm privileged. I can do this. I get to work at home. I don't have to work with people who are sickos and support a man who vowed and promised to take away my fellow humans' human and civil rights. I'm so privileged because I don't know what I'd do if I had to. It's just sick. I don't know what I'd do. But anyway, not to rant, but I put out a pretty strong something about go F off, but before you do it, maybe unfriend me. And the results I got were amazing. Somebody who I didn't know was a Trump supporter, a very, very close friend, I thought, who doesn't really go online, but must have seen it and thought it applied to them, which is a bit telling, and told me I made his wife cry and I did this and that. And I'm not happy about that, but I don't know what to say. So I am so sorry that happened to you, Brenda. David, don't talk politics, talk solutions. One Voice Now. David is in charge of One Voice Now, and I know he'd love people to look into it. And maybe, Dave, you could put something up there. I'm hoping this conversation continues way past this live show. Lynn, that is just wrong, this Betsy. I live in a college town. Thank goodness they have worked to increase security and awareness of sexual assault that is prominent in lots of the college campuses. I mean, thank you, Lynn. The statistics are mind-boggling. How many people get raped when they go to college? I mean, you don't send your little girl to college to get raped. I mean, Jesus. And a lot of times, you know, having been in college and having, you know, kids in college, unless that school takes it upon themselves to make it crystal clear that no kind of, it is either, I guess the way people put it is, there's no gray area. there's no gray area. And it is not up to women to have to protect themselves. And I've seen some colleges do some great things, but overall, it's a mess. It's a mess. David says the system is totally screwed up. Amen to that. Yep. Philip, Mr. David, as long as people don't see the truth in front of them, we can't change the stupidity that they should see. The wrong ones are in charge of the system. If you see how many problems there was in the voting system. Okay, yeah. And David's One Voice Now is kind of a unique program that he's trying to so look into it. It's very unique. It's kind of something that if it were implemented could really help unite people to know exactly what, just a little more transparency in local government and just stuff like that. But he'll explain it. He's very good at explaining it. Neil, Dave, the white people will not come together to stop racism. Yeah, that's part of the problem. Hi, Eddie. Thanks for being here. Oh, okay. Dave, Philip, you are so right. Check out onevoicenow.org. You'll love it. Okay. Here's the thing, and I don't want to speak for Neil, although I do like to sometimes. Part of the problem is, if you look at the statistics over the last 10 years, 50% of adult white Americans do not think racism is a thing in America. This is how out of touch they are. They literally think that we're in a post-racial era. I mean, talk about out of touch. They don't know our real racial history. They didn't get it in school. They're the people they hang around in very homogeneous groups. If they're talking about race, they're talking to each other. They're not talking to anyone who actually lives this every single day. So, I mean, I'm talking, a lot of people have great ideas, but half of white America doesn't even think there's a problem. My God, talk about out of it. But I mean, everything has to be considered. We have a huge problem. And I'm not saying that white America is to solve this. We had our chance to solve this. We blew it. It's too late for us. But what we can do is not just do nothing, not just give up, but actually support our brothers and sisters of color. My God, it just can't keep going on and on, generation after generation. Let me see, Philip. The solution is out there. Beto and others have told you the solution, and racist fools won't listen. They think the upper 1% cares about them. Exactly, my take exactly, Philip. They have been made fools, and they go for it every time. And I'm not 100%. My take is simply this: is America, white America, has a love affair with racism. We will choose racism over anything else, even our own best interest. And that's just my take. Brenda, the world is watching us. Trump wants a dictatorship. Absolutely. Absolutely, Brenda. 100%. Yep. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Brenda, because that's a great point. Leslie, January will bring big changes on Capitol Hill, because I believe in my heart that there are a lot of Republicans that will stand up against 45 now. Oh boy, do I have something to say about that. But for the last 2 years, they were scared because they have no one to back them up. Now that we have Democrats taking over the House, I think a lot of Republicans will stand up and shout files against 45 because they know someone's going to back them up. That's a great point. Hi, Danny. Thanks for being here. Super. I'm so happy to see people. David, the right ones are we the people. Absolutely. Mr. David, I have to check that out. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a very interesting concept. And Eddie, how am I tonight? I am very happy everyone's here and talking. And I have a really, really rough time with the Republicans. As some of you know, I was kind of born a goody two-shoes, and that before Trump was even the representative for the Republicans, that many Republicans didn't stand up and say, how dare you talk about my fellow humans that way? How dare you? They just stayed quiet. I know little kids. I teach my kids that if you stand there and watch an atrocity happening, or somebody disparaging your fellow humans or doing something cruel or bullying, you don't just stand there. You do something, you say something, you take action. I saw adults who wanted to be in our Congress, maybe even president, standing there and doing nothing. And I'm not saying too little too late, but my God, I guess, I mean, I get it. They weren't backed. I guess I'm not into politics. That's my thing. So I'm going to shut up now. Racism is real, Brenda. Absolutely. And thank you, Eddie, for asking how I am. I'm okay. Thanks. David, the tool we need gives us an equal voice. The way equality will come to mankind, I'm changing that, humankind. Sorry, David, little feminist in me. Brenda, I live it daily. Absolutely. And that 50% of people aren't even willing to acknowledge there's a problem. That's disgusting. And the other 50% of white America, they're not exactly, if there were 50% of white Americans standing up, we'd have what we need for basically people of color and African Americans would have the support, so much support that they have real equality, because we haven't given real equality. We have laws, but the racists work around them. They circumvent them because they haven't bought into it. They don't believe in them. They don't get it. They don't know our own history. Eddie, Kim, you can talk about Jane Elliott, the brown eyes, blue eyes. Oh, yes. Yes. I definitely can. In fact, I post her videos all the time. She's amazing. She was my first influence, personally, to me, when I was 18. She is a white woman who really, really gets it, and she did her experiment. And yeah, I definitely would love to talk about her. She's a lot older now, but it's living on. She really did a good thing bringing out this experiment that she did in her classroom a long time ago. I'll definitely talk about that. David, it's evolved. It just has to be implemented. It's solved. Sorry, I couldn't read it. It's solved. It just has to be implemented. Philip, racism did not start with Trump. It's been around and growing more each day. Look how many more mass shootings there have been since Trump. Yeah, and I want to make that point clear, and I try to make it in every video I do. This is not, Trump didn't start this. Trump became the leader of it. They've been looking for a leader since the Civil War. And this is my commentary, of course. In my mind, he is the voluntary or involuntary, I don't care, it doesn't matter, de facto modern leader of the KKK and white supremacy, because he is inciting people. He's giving them the leader they've always looked for. He's telling them it's okay. And it's coming from our federal government, from the person who is supposed to be for all humans. White skin gives people false egos, David. Yep, we're living, Lakeisha, we're living in the last days. Tell me more what you mean. Jason, hi, thanks for being here. Republicans suck. Yeah, you could say that again, boy. David says, Lakeisha, these are the last days of the old system and the beginning of a new world. Communication technology will bring us all closer. Yeah, part of what David talks about is using our technology to bring we the people together. Republicans. Yeah, I'm personally disgusted with Republicans, as most people are. I'm so ashamed that more people couldn't stand up for what's right. It's not a controversial issue. That's my problem personally. Not to get on a rampage here, but I do. It's not a controversial issue. People want to, I get a lot of people on my YouTube channel trying to debate. They want to debate me. And I think that debate's a really good thing. But you see, in my little sanctimonious, arrogant mind, there's nothing to debate. I can't debate my fellow humans' civil rights and humanity. That's not a debate. There's nothing to debate. The only debate is how we help support them to get the equality that they've deserved forever. So I can't debate, but thank you, Stephen. You and Jane Elliott should, do a Are you kidding? I would, I'd be starstruck, and I don't get starstruck because I don't know any stars. Thank you. That's a very sweet thing to say. I don't think I'm quite famous enough for her, but yes, That would be incredible. Thomas, white people are not taught about organized racism and how America was built and how it was built. Right. This is why 50% of them think that it's opposed. Absolutely. And we don't have it in schools. And we're more segregated than post. I read something that said we're more segregated now than post 64 civil rights, or equal or more. So we're not mixing and talking in heterogeneous groups. I mean, when I talk to white people, because that's what I do, and I don't want to make that extra clear, because this week I got some people saying that, accusing me of talking about them, people of color, and I don't do that. Everything I do is to educate white America. It's not my place to tell people of color, African Americans, indigenous people, brown people, black people. That's not my place to tell them how to feel, how to solve their problems. Not my place. I stay in my lane. But what I do is, I don't know, maybe I'm arrogant. I take it upon myself to educate white people, not to be blaming, but to educate them. So I always think, and it's kind of naive, if they know the truth about our racial history and redlining and the Devil's Punch Bowl and sundown towns and all these horrific ways that we legally made sure people of color, black people, could not accumulate wealth and would not be able to share in the American dream, even though technically they're supposed to have equality. We went out of our way to do this. So great point, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, and there's no way we'll ever get this kind of education in the schools, because it would end systemic racism. And there are a bunch of really wealthy people who will not have that. So the Crown Prince, Lynn. Leslie, first I would like to start off by saying thank you. I love that you put this one every time. Leslie, this is your best, greatest line. Leslie, by the way, sorry, I'm going to embarrass you, is a fantastic writer. Just thought I'd say that. First of all, I'd like to start by saying thank you to 45 for being our president. Now, with that being said, let me inform you that I did not vote for that SOB, but why am I thanking him for being president? It's because he's revealed the true nature of our country, racism. Now we all know that racism exists, but it was candy. We all know that racism exists, but it was candy coated. Now the sheets are off. I can say that again. Actually back on for some people. And people are walking around proudly displaying their racism. Now we know who you are and how you think about Muslims, Mexicans, but most of all, black men. Again, thank you, 45, for removing that Band-Aid. Now we see that we have a problem. Sorry, we've always known we had a problem, but now we see that you are not scared to show your true colors. And remember, one important thing, the internet is forever, and we've seen your face and we know who you are. Thank you for that. And it's long, but it's awesome. Yep, David, I'm disgusted with politics. Yep. Lakeisha says true. Travis, hello, thanks for being here. This is scary. This is really scary stuff, and I can't wait till Mueller is going to just present his stuff. So anyway, I was talking about Betsy DeVos, and she's trying to pass stuff that's going to make university rapists, whoever they may be, feel great again, because they're going to, women who are attacked are not going to be able to have any means to get justice. So it's really disgusting. It might be a minor point to some, but oh my God. Another thing, I'm just going to list off a few things to spark everyone's memory. It's been, as I said before, the stuff we're talking about right now is stuff that would get anyone kicked out of office. I mean, absolutely anybody. And the problem is he's just doing so many things that we can't even differentiate, like one thing from another. But hang on one second. I'm going to just turn this off. Sorry about that, guys. And somebody is calling me during this. What I wanted to say was, I want to say something about the black security guard who was taken as a suspect. Do you guys have any comments on that? I mean, he was shot dead by the police, who apparently must have thought he was the criminal. It's just another case where police are not there for people of color. They literally went to the scene, and I don't know what they were told, for the 911 call, but they thought he was the bad guy, and they killed him. He was the hero. He was the hero. So I don't know, I mean, David, politics has always divided us and has created racism. No one has ever been more prejudiced than the snobs running the country and making prejudicial laws. They've always needed a scapegoat. In Germany, it was the Jews. In America, it's always been the blacks, now Hispanics. Yep. David, great point. They've expanded, it's just, oh, you hate my ring. Thanks, David. Thank you so much. I'm sorry it disturbed you. Very funny. Kind of. I think he's waiting for Trump to get out of office so he can get him without him trying to pardon himself. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but I get the feeling we're going to find out really soon. I just get that feeling because we were in that blackout period and now we're not. It's just been too long. Lakeisha, awful, just terrible. Anna, unfortunately, our education system has been slowly changing throughout the years because oligarchs such as the Koch brothers want full control as to what particular courses can be taught. Of course they do. Excellent point, Anna. Of course they do. They don't want real history taught. They don't want us to really know the truth about our incredibly barbaric racial history. It's still going on today. Mass incarceration and the school to prison pipeline and systemic racism in every single area of social life. They don't want us to be educated. So, I mean, yeah. Oh, Lynn, you saw the man who was killed, and I mean, it was a really bad situation to begin with. There were people shooting each other there in the bar, but I saw a video not too long ago where an intruder came into a man's home, and he was a man of color, and he's got this intruder pinned down, and his wife's out videoing it because guess what? He said straight to the camera, the police are going to come shoot me in my own home. And I don't blame him because I would have thought the same damn thing. So, yeah. Thomas. It's a hard sell. The guy was wearing a security shirt, and the people told the cops that he was security. They shot him for working while black. Simple as that. Is that okay? That's your take. See, Thomas, thank you. Thank you for having the courage and saying it like it is, because I just appreciate that so much. I read a bunch of articles, and some of them were so skewed. My question about that is this, and thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Here's the thing. I don't understand why communication can't be better. I mean, I'm just thinking, and I don't know much about this, but here's my take, and tell me what you think. Why can't, when people call in, they actually get details, a little more detail? I know people don't know sometimes, but my God, I'm sure they could have said something that would have made them understand that that's not, you don't go in and shoot black people. My God. I guess what I'm trying to say is we can send a person to the freaking moon, but we can't train police officers to not shoot the black people, and they're not doing anything. I don't know. Get me started. But yeah, Lakeisha, black heroes don't exist to white Europeans. I know. And you know what? It's such a slow process, but that's what education. I've seen amazing things happen to very, very racist people when they just, there's an order of operations. You can't just throw everything at them at once, but it's not rocket science. These people if they're capable, this is what Jane Ellis says, if you're capable of learning to be racist, you're capable of unlearning it. And she was an educator, and I am too. And I know that white America can do this. I know they can. We just have to get them to do it and get them to want to do it. Philip, like they said, a white mass shooter gets taken in unharmed, but if you're black with a gun, it's a death sentence. If you're black without a gun, absolutely. And it's unconscionable. Don Lemon recently hit it dead on the head. Stephen. Yeah, Lynn, it's a canned education. Tim, hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the phone call. Somebody has a little bit of a dispute with the ringtone I have. Maybe you guys will have to take that up later, you and David. Sorry, David. David, the black people have led our culture for many years and have never gotten credit for it. Now people are starting to realize it. Other than, oh, yeah, exactly. I don't know if, I'm not sure if this is what you're referring to, but I know for me, I am like in awe of how incredibly accomplished people of color, black people specifically, African-American people have been. They don't even have their equality. In my mind, they don't have equality yet. Yet they have, black women are the most educated women in the United States. Educated group, rather, my God. They have this determination. I mean, obviously I'm saying they as a group, everyone, it's not a monolith, I know that, but my God, if you think back to, it's unbelievable. It's, talk about determination, and black men to everybody. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of what's happened, and disgusted, horribly disgusted on the other hand. Thomas, oh, hi, another Leslie. Thomas, police are trained to have the mentality that society is the enemy. That's one of the problems. Absolutely, Thomas. And one of the articles that I read on that was absolutely, overall, it was Reuters statistical, they're considered pretty legit. And the thing, take a wild guess what the number one thing they get to do for training is shooting. So the real shooting, and de-escalation, barely on the list. You know, understanding the difference between a mentally ill person, a drunk person, and a person who's had developmental disabilities, barely made the charts. Learning about systemic racism barely made the charts. Obviously, that's disgusting. They're hiring people who at minimum have implicit bias, and maximum they're over racist. I mean, we all know about the FBI studies, found infiltration. Like, you know, like 10 years ago, I think it was, they found, not on like a small level either. So, I mean, Thomas, that is a whole, yes, absolutely. Leslie, maybe there is hope then. Hi, Kimberly. Hello. Good to see you. Nice to see you are still optimistic of white population, racist in particular. Okay, I am, because I can't give up hope, because it's too awful. But I promise every other day I lose. My saying is this: losing hope for humanity one Trump supporter at a time. I have my moments, but no, I'm not ready to give up. No, I will not. I will never give up. I won't, because my fellow humans are worth it. And I won't. I just, not like, oh, I'm so great, I'm one person, but nope, never gonna happen. I won't stop until the racism stops, and it's not gonna stop anytime soon. So anyway, enough about me. Leslie, thank you though. Now, during 45's campaign, he promised that he would keep us safe from terrorists. Okay, I gotta stop right there. He's a terrorist. I don't worry about terrorists coming into our nation. I worry about him. How about you guys? He's the terrorist. Sorry, I had to jump in there. In the last 2 years, I don't know the number of shootings, but most of the killings were by white men, from white men. But none of them were labeled terrorists. Of course not. They're labeled lone wolves, mentally ill, people with PTSD, even if they aren't labeled that, from the military, which is just, what a slap in the face. I talked to somebody. Okay, I'm getting on my own rampage. Sorry. They were labeled lone wolves or 45. Yep. The question, etc. So my question 45 is, when are you going to protect us from the terrorists that look like you? Excellent question. I was just chatting with somebody the other day about this, and he was a military person, and he was pissed. And he mistook something I said because probably he was just really, really mad. And I wrote to him, and I told him, I said that I think he mistook what I said, and he said, "Oh yeah, I did, sorry," and it was totally cool. But I don't blame him. I mean, this is triggering stuff. This guy went through tours, military tours in other nations where he saw horrific things. He came back with PTSD. He's not shooting up people. This is not a normal thing to do. You can't just say like, oh well, he was military, and just like brush it off. It's epidemic. Thomas, police that approach every situation as such, with minorities being the demonized target. Exactly. And a lot of times in the late, I know you probably know, maybe you guys watching right now know a little bit more about this than I do, but I know in the last 10, 15 years, actually probably 20 years, the militarization of police. They get all the military gear. They get trained in this way like we're the enemy. I mean, I saw a special on it on TV. So, I mean, but yeah, it's terrifying. David, education can be better because the administration is stealing the money. Now that the state controls the education, now that the state controls the education money, they just as soon destroy it, so people will have to buy their kids' education. Oh, well, that's what she's trying to do. Right, she is definitely trying to do that. That's her thing, because she wants religion in schools, which, lo and behold, systemic racism. She wants to make it so that it'll, once again, always comes down to harming the people who are historically marginalized in America. She's a sicko. That I don't get me started. Philip, the only way he would have lived, he should have his gun to someone. Okay, wait a second. I'm gonna read what you're saying. I think you're talking about the that man that was gunned down. The only way he would have lived is if he had his gun to someone white on the scene and stood back and waited for the police to come there. Yeah. So basically, Philip, I think what you're saying is he was doomed. He was a black man with a gun. It didn't matter that he was the hero. It didn't matter. I think that's what you're trying to say. I don't want to definitely. Replying to Philip, you're right. Yep, he didn't stand a chance. He didn't stand a chance. Thank you for whoever's hitting the little hearts. Don Lemon recently stated, white men are the terrorists. Exactly. And that's what all the statistics show. And we have this big denial thing in white America. I don't get, I mean, I guess what people say is it's just they don't want to give up their privilege and their power, but it's not real. Don't get, I'm crazy tonight. But yeah, it's not real. Anna, fanatical religious groups are also forcing schools to stop teaching children about the dinosaur era because it's not stated in religious materials. Well, that's right. And one of the problems, Anna, is as a teacher, I've kind of looked into that, and I'm sure you have too. What she wants to do is basically have this religious agenda forced upon, they're going to take the money from public schools. This has been her thing the entire time. Take money from public schools where the less economically well-off people end up going, and pull the money from that and put it into these private schools where they can teach whatever they want. It's very loosey-goosey with the private schools. And obviously it's state to state, but I mean, it's insane. Yep. Okay. And Anna has put a post for us, another post for us, and Lynn. Yes, funding for education. Where's all the money generated from lottery sales that was supposed to go towards education in Missouri gone? Yet, all over the news, it's how poorly students are doing on testing, learning life skills, teachers quitting ad nauseum. Yeah, I mean, I boil it down to something that's really simple, and it might sound very sanctimonious, but in my mind, we have our values screwed up. We value things. We value greed and money instead of humanity and people. we don't pay our teachers enough. I know teachers that have 2, 3 jobs. It's ludicrous. How can you go from teaching? It's a very rigorous job. It's constant. You don't have a coffee break. You don't get to go to the bathroom for a long time. I mean, anyway, yeah, you're right. David, Black women are doing well because they're not afraid to work hard and are smart. Plus, they really care about their families and kids. They're also spiritual. And yeah, in general, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how Black women became the most educated people, the most educated group in America, but all I know is it's true and it's awesome. And even though everything is against, if you're not white, you have it stacked against you. We can all, Thomas, thank you, Thomas. That is a beautiful thing. We can all change. I did. And I'm going to plug. I did a life-changing, one of the most amazing interviews with Thomas. And I have it on video. Part 1 is out. I have 4 more parts to put out. Thomas, it was life-changing. And I want to thank you with all my heart. And you did change, and you're amazing. So sorry, I'm just getting a little. Okay, Philip, it only takes 1 person. Buffering, uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, David put his One Voice Now post. Thank you. So if you want to look into that, it's a very unique but excellent idea. Philip, truth is, he was right. Terrorists are not hurting us because they still won't label KKK and white supremacists as terrorist groups, and that is disgusting. Yep. Hey, Dominic, thanks for being here. Let me see. Hello. Anna's posting some things. Thomas, they're labeled as domestic terrorists, right? But the administration has stripped all the funding to those programs to fight domestic terrorism and white supremacy. Exactly. I love how knowledgeable you are. You're so academic, Thomas. Exactly. What they're doing is, and this is kind of a thing that Trump's I've seen a pattern of. What he does is he might not destroy something, but he'll make it so it's inoperable. Like the Obamacare. He basically stopped advertising, he stopped funding, he stopped, and I think that's basically what he's done with, and I've seen it done by other Republicans, but, like I said, my very privileged opinion, Trump's the de facto modern leader of the KKK. I don't care if he wants to be or not. That's what he has become. And, like what is it, like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm not even close. But, it's a joke. But yeah, Thomas, awesome comment. David, I'm not a terrorist. Oh, David, it's not about you. Although I know that ring annoyed you, but it's not about you. Let me see. David, it's not we, it's the politicians that are misinterpreting society and making us believe that what they believe is normal, the same effect that television is having on our society. Yeah, we're normalizing it all. I know it's true, and I'm not right. That's why you said I'm not a terrorist. I'm not accusing you personally, although you are white American. No, I'm just kidding. Male. But yeah, this nation's in denial. White America's in denial, and not just a little denial. It's crazy. So anyway, let me see. So that was the Black security guard. Oh, so dangerous. And then we have these people randomly calling the police for nothing. I cannot wait till that becomes a serious criminal offense that's punishable or finable. I'll tell you, I know one way, and I don't mean to sound nasty. I know one way to get, all of a sudden, white Americans will see the light of what racism really is, when you find the what out of them for doing, they love their money. And not all of them, of course, but this should be stopped already. This shouldn't be happening. So it's enough that I feel pretty comfortable saying white America. And if you're not in it, then that's good. But even people who are considered woke and educated, it's in the fabric, like Obama said, it's in the air. Implicit bias is real, and implicit bias is for everything, but it is strong. The minute you're born, it's strong against people of color, especially Black. I mean, it's how we made it. We made it this way. Trump is a white nationalist. He graduated from the KKK that his parents had him in. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the paper. You've all seen the paperwork on his father's arrest in full garb at a Ku Klux Klan rally. So, he definitely, they kind of cross-checked it, and for all practical purposes, it was him. And he left without a charge to pay off. But I mean, he was raised, and I don't even like the term nationalist. It's a euphemism for disgusting racist, and I don't understand these people. That's my problem. And Thomas and I actually talked a ton about not dehumanizing people like that, because they are humans. And I know I shouldn't, and I fight it every single day, but I don't get it. I don't understand. The facts are there, the internet's there, the information's there. They want to hate, and the hate they have isn't just any hate. It kills people. It destroys lives. So I'm really gonna be working on that my entire life. But good night, Good night, Leslie. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Bob. Is this a hint that I should be off? Philip, the GOP sold us out long ago to the upper 1% who want people to work, to work till you die. Got it. Yep, like father, like son. Yeah, unfortunately, nationalists equal communist. Yeah, I don't know enough about that, but I thought nationalist was just like a euphemism for incredibly racist. I don't really know. You guys can teach me. I wanted to quickly go over a few. Some white people just don't care, Leslie. And you know what? I know for me, when I'm trying to work with people, because I work in online every day with white people who want to learn. They might be ignorant, but they want to learn. That's good enough for me. I mean, they want to learn. That's a good thing. And they will slowly climb up the anti-racism, anti-bigotry continuum. But it's a lifelong continuum. I learn stuff new every single day. I mean, like I was telling you about Thomas teaching me stuff. And I mean, every day I literally learn 2 or 3. I'm even learning history that I had no clue about. And I'm going to do some top 10 videos on them, because there's some, if I always keep thinking if people knew the history, they would get this. But anyway, I could blab all night, as you know. Yeah, they hate David. They hate because they hate themselves. But yeah, Leslie, the ones that don't care, I don't know. I kind of don't even want to work with them right now, because they're not teachable, because you have to want to learn. I mean, you have to want to learn. I think we all know that. So, but it doesn't mean they won't be teachable at some point if they keep hearing the message over and over again. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up one more point. I know it's getting late, but this is something that just really blew me away. When Sessions' last little act of hate, he dealt a real big blow to police reform in America. And I don't know if everyone's aware of that. He sent out a memorandum, and what that memorandum did was make it harder to engage in investigating and reforming police departments that repeatedly violate civil rights. And this was purposeful. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and obviously I have no clue what Trump told him, but this is like his last hurrah. He tried to dismantle any of the progress that Obama had made in having our Justice Department have some oversight on these state police that over and over again are state-sanctioned terrorists, basically. And we all know the origins of police in America, and that was slave catchers. and they're not being trained. At least they're not being trained in, they're being trained in to shoot people, but not in de-escalation. Even as a special ed teacher, I was taught de-escalation. It's not being done. And it's like I say, a surgeon, you go into a surgeon, they're going to say, oh, you need surgery. A police who's taught to shoot and trained in shooting, it's their go-to, they're going to shoot. And we don't even check for implicit bias at minimum. I mean, anyway, I could go, I'm ranting, but so he did this horrible thing, and it's just awful. Yep, Thomas, nationalists want pure white national state separation of everyone else. I know, they want that, and it's a really strong force, and Trump has brought it out. Unfortunately, they're not afraid to speak up. David, most people in power are dysfunctional. Absolute power always corrupts, but it first affects the individual in power. Good point. Good point. David says, one voice now will allow communities to take back their police department. And that's a good point. Stephen, they traded the white sheets for the blue uniforms. Malcolm X, thank you. Yes. And suits and ties. And these people aren't wearing sheets. These are your doctors and your politicians and your dentists and your teachers. They're everybody. We have to educate America, white America. Again, not so they can lead this fight. It's too late for that. Too late. That ship has sailed hundreds of years ago. I'm sorry, but so we can support it. My God, the least we can do is support it. Anna posted something, AmericanProgress.org, and we'll look at that. Yes, it has been done by the police union for years. They try to have the same power that the IRS has. Yeah, explain that more, because I don't know too much about that, but I do know that the current federal laws are basically make them be able to kill with impunity. I mean, these standards are so low. Fear for their life and, acting in a reasonable manner. That's not a standard for the public. I think that they should be at a high, I don't know. Forgive me, but I think that professionals need to be, expected to be at a higher standard. Just, what can I say? And should be paid more too, and educated more, and trained more. Anyway, I know I'm preaching to the choir. Philip, it's been done. Okay, let me just keep going. Oh, thank you, Stephen. I just adore people for being here, and I could blab and blab and blab, and I will. I'm going to wrap it up. We didn't get to talk about Georgia's midterm race with Stacey Abrams. She's holding out, hoping to get it close enough so that she can actually do a recount, which, oh God, I hope so. And one thing I just have to mention, don't hate for it. This is just like, we don't have enough checks and balances. And thank you, Stephen, for that. That was really sweet. Georgia's Secretary of State, or before the election, Brian Kemp, guess what the Secretary of State does? They're in charge of elections. So literally, the man running was in charge of the state elections. He threw people off he threw tons of people of color, tons of voter suppression, and supposedly thousands of people didn't get counted. That's corruption. That's not kind of corruption. That's corruption. So Philip, the police union make the laws that protect bad cops. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. You too. You're wonderful. You have to come to everyone. Thank you. And Leslie, I adore and love you too. Thank you so much. And this is my hint to stop yakking. But anyway, I just want to say that, we need more checks and balances, because you don't get to run your own election and kick people off who you think might not vote for you. That's insanity. So I swear I said I was gonna. Oh, and some man who had a racist t-shirt on got fired. So keep up the social media. It's working. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. If you believe it's way past time for white America to educate ourselves about the truth about our racial history and our current inequality that's been created by this history. And please support my efforts. I'd love for people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get your friends to do it. I want to hear more of your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this thread going, because I have tons to say. I never shut up. And let's teach other white people. It's way past time for white America to step up to the plate. We were born into it, but my God, you don't just stand there and watch your fellow human be abused and basically traumatized and do nothing and say, oh, I was born into it. Give me a break. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the comments. I want to know what you think. Thanks for being here.